everyone, this is Keith Scott from Apple City, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Blue Energy Loose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kelly and Annie McPhee.
Because often I'll be slurping puns to people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, have you ever worked any jobs other than the massaging or the spas or anything?
I have worked many, many jobs. Yeah. So, before I went to school for esthetician, I worked at Laura's. I have done a lot of service industry jobs. I did some coffee shops. I worked at Chicago's Best. Um, and then once I moved out of Estes, I worked for, a gym. So right around when I got my license and got a job in a spa, it was like a couple of months before COVID. So I worked in a spa for a few months and then I got laid off because of COVID. So then finding a job in the industry of touching people after a serious virus was very difficult. So I worked at a gym. I worked for a concrete company. Let me see. I worked for Ulta, which is a makeup company. I worked for Benefit, which is another makeup company. So I've always kind of been in the service industry. Um, so yeah, I did a lot of service jobs for sure.
Yeah, what was the difference of those jobs between Ulta and the spas?
It is a lot less hands-on. It's a lot more sales. So when I'm working for esthetician, I don't necessarily have to sell as much. Obviously, I always want to upsell, um, especially if it can be beneficial to somebody, but I'm not so much selling a product as much as I am a service. So working at Ulta, especially in the pandemic, it was a totally different ball game. I worked at Ulta actually before the pandemic, so I was able to compare how different it was. I wasn't able to touch people, you weren't able to test anything. We didn't have any testers out. There was a whole huge protocol that you had to follow. So it was a lot different. Um, night and day to then go and be able to touch people and provide a service to people at that capacity.
Got it.
Mhm.
You've mentioned that, you've battled depression before. What do you do to cope with that?
That is a good question. I think that changes pretty regularly, depending on where I'm at. I ride motorcycles, so that has been quite a very, very big part of therapy for me. It is huge for mental stability, believe it or not. Um, so yeah, riding motorcycles has helped a lot. Like I mentioned, I go to therapy, so talking to a professional has been insanely helpful. What else do I do? I try to surround myself with the people that I love, um, when I'm feeling down, and exercise. Always exercise. I think it's really easy when you're feeling down or depressed or in a mood where you just don't want to do anything or talk to anyone. It's really easy to do that.
Hmm.
So I make it a very, very big priority to still exercise always when I'm feeling depressed.
Yeah, and it's easy to put the wrong foods in your body.
Totally. Yeah. Especially I think it's hard when you're growing up in Estes because there's not much, you can't just DoorDash something. There's not as much accessibility of fast food or junk. Um, so as somebody who grows up where it's not as accessible, and then you get to somewhere where I can walk 10 feet down my street and Chiba Hut is right there, and there's McDonald's, there's junk everywhere. It's really easy to just get sucked into not taking care of yourself.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Cheers!